Batman Arkham Asylum, a game that's been beaten in about any single way you can possibly think of, and that's just based off a simple YouTube search. However, I think I found it. I think I found a way of beating the game which has not been done anywhere on YouTube yet.
What did he say?
And that's a 17-year-old game, well, going 17-year-old. This run would be getting 100% completion on Batman Arkham Asylum with the Knightfall overhaul mod installed. This, for those who aren't aware, is the biggest difficulty mod for Batman Arkham Asylum, and it's made by GP Unity. This has a range of changes to the base game, the most important being the increased health pool and damage output that the enemies across the board have been granted with, along with the two new difficulty modifiers, which is Insane and Insane Plus. The only difference between the two is Insane has the combat counter icons, Insane Plus has got rid of them entirely, so achieving this will mean achieving every single trophy, every Riddler trophy, every Amadeus Arkham tape, and finally every combat challenge star and Predator challenge star. So as you can guess, this is quite a task, and according to the online trophy guide, this should take around 24 hours to complete on the base game. So after taking that into account, and that's only taking into account all of the trophies on the guide, I'm going to put a timer in the bottom left corner of the screen at the start of the run and see how fast we can complete it. But I'm going to stop shitting on now and let the video play, so enjoy.
Welcome to the madhouse, Batman! I said a chat! And you sprang gloriously! I'll never let you win.
I'm going to be breaking this video down into 3 separate chapters, that being chapter 1, the story and everything that contains, along with all the trophies we pick up along the way. Chapter 2, this chapter will be designated for all post-endgame content, being all the miscellaneous stuff such as Riddler trophies and Amadeus Arkham tapes. Chapter 3, this is exclusively for the challenges to mop up the last few trophies before the platinum. Now it's time to get into the run. The run starts off as any normal run. Drive the Joker to Arkham Asylum, do the long walking segment, get threatened off Killer Croc, consensually crush Joker's windpipe, before hand him off and brawling out with Big Man Gordon.
Son of a bitch.
Just as we start talking about politics and all the good shit, the Joker hears us, breaks free, letting us know he don't stand for that shit, headbutts a doctor, and then proceeds to hide behind an electric fence, and then goes and lets his boy out of the jail cells. However, not aware that this is prime trophy opportunity for us to pick up our first one of the run, that being Free Flow Combo 5. After taking them out, got Gordon cheering us on, we take pursuit after Joker, chase them through the asylum. It's not long though before we bump into Arkham's local smackhead, Zaz, who's got a cop strapped to an electric chair, so we use the suspiciously placed gargoyles all around the roof to get behind him and give him his daily fix of boot face and put him to sleep for another trophy. After this, Harley comes on the TV and shows us she's kidnapped the warden due to her daddy issues and tried to stop us from following her, but the fade just needs to be caught, so we push on, and now we end up outside of a room filling full of Joker's laughing gas, killing everyone inside. So it's up to us, of course, to go in and save the remaining survivors, which, side note, how do you even get up here in the first place? But still, we save the 2 cops, and then we find a strange anomaly which grants us a trophy for saving the inmate in the room as well. Well, saving's a bit of a strong word. Continuing on, we'll finally find the Joker on his way to patient isolation, where he releases Joe Rogan's defective twin, the Titan, which he did hit me once here, and you can see the damage that these fuckers deal now. So tactic was just do circles around him, casting spells until he dies of a heart attack, and then the Joker just straight up dips. As we are speaking to this guard here, he pops up on the TV showing Gordon get kidnapped. You know, we already can't be standing for that shit, so we have to make our way back to where it all started, scanning the room for clues. We then find Officer Bowles' flasks and are able to pick up traces of the chemicals in the atmosphere from him breathing. Following this trail leads us to an elevator, which, yeah, we don't just get to ride up, because Harley's about to come straight down, give a tiny bit of lip and blow it up and send an elevator flying down on our heads. But now we are just Batman it, and we just manually climb all the way up, and at the top find our our first Amadeus Arkham tape. And this is another type of collectible we will be needing to look out for later, and after grappling up to the ledge, we'll start the real first combat encounter of the game, where we pick up 2 trophies, free flow combo 10 and 20, and then get whooped before running it back and ripping off the vent on the wall like a tank. Coming out of the other side, we see Arkham thugs with weapons, learning that they have gained access to the armory. We sneak around, taking all 3 of them out, and then the main thug in the control room, which this leads us to the first real stealth segment of the game, that being 3 armed henchmen, which isn't really a challenge. And after taking out all 3 of them, we get another wave of 3 armed henchmen. Rinse and repeat the same thing and move on to find a dead Officer Bowles, which serves them right fucking with my mans like that. But this does now mean that there's no further trail, as the Joker's figured out how we've been able to keep up with him this whole time. But on that note, it's not long before we get something else. We get our communications hacked by, yes, you guessed it, the Riddler, who is making us solve his first riddle in the game, which is simple.
Be careful! Don't cut yourself on this sharply observed portrait.
And that's just this picture right here of Warden Sharp. Before leaving and speaking to this dude, we pick up some more collectibles and make our way down and speak to the guard, and then make our way out onto the main island, giving us another trophy for accessing the main island part of the game. Where after reaching the main part of the map, I instantly get interrupted by Barbara telling me the Joker's free speech police have came and found me car. I need to go and stop them from destroying it, but I have other plans. So, and that plan is picking up Riddler trophies, which gains us another trophy for solving 5% of the Riddler challenges. Starting off strong, but now we make our way at the Batmobile, smashing up the thugs with these E for everyone rated hands, and take our explosive gel out the boot of the Batmobile. We then proceed to clear the whole area of Riddler trophies, at least the Riddler trophies we can obtain at this point anyway. We then go back and return to the Batmobile, scanning the area around it for clues, only to find Gordon's pipe lying on the ground, and after conferring with our main gal pal Barbara, she then tells us that it's a very sentimental gift and Gordon just wouldn't leave this behind voluntarily. So learning that, we scan it for clues and follow the trail to the west part of the island, where again the first thing we do is run around and mob up as many collectibles as humanly possible. After doing this, we then find another trophy in our collection for solving 10% of the Riddler challenges. Right after this, we arrived outside the medical building, laying belt to ass but barely scraping by, only to find out that Holly has blocked off the entrance and does indeed have Gordon right alongside her. After seeing her bully our man like that, we have to find another way in, but it's not long before we find a suspiciously placed wall, which looks very blow-upable, so we break our way in like the fucking Kool-Aid man and push through the medical facility. However though, it's not long before we bump into a room filled full of armed men holding a group of doctors hostage. Now it's time for what I call a few pro-gamer moves. Huh, 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 ha, oh, okay. Never mind. Run that back a second time though, we are a lot more careful and calculated and avoid detection, clearing out the rest of the room second try before then running and speaking to the doctors. Only to learn that this is only a few of them and there are 3 more doctors held around the facility. So we again clear the room of collectibles again, which we're going to be doing a lot after finishing an area at a time. We then go and move towards the first doctor, who happens to be Dr. Young and is going to be very important later on. So the way we're safer is we need to blow up these 2 walls, blowing up the room she's in, taking out the 6 armed men and somehow not her. But moving on to the second doctor, who is in some sort of saw trap. After saving him, he reveals that we about to get jumped. So we whoop some ass, free the doctor, and this leaves us with one last room to clear. Finally arriving at the last room, we find a group of people stuck, hiding from a room filled full of the same toxin as earlier on. Our job is the same, find a way into the room, turn off the 3 fans layer by layer, and also drop this dude straight to his death, breaking our no-kill rule. and earn ourselves one more trophy for saving all of the doctors, including these three, all throughout the facility. After leaving the doctors, we make our way back to the room from earlier where I'm talking to all of the doctors, where Dr. Young insists on going back and getting her research from the Arkham mansion, but we sharply get interrupted though as armed henchmen have came back up looking for us again from the elevator. So one more time we take them out, being extremely careful, as now I'm full well aware that one bullet can just end everything, which makes these sections a lot harder. But the final henchman goes down and we make our way down the elevator the thugs came up in and get stopped by the Joker as we try to use it, which he starts threatening us immediately to drop us to our death, but we end up safe and exit the elevator to find people screaming and losing their minds. As we examine closer and try and see what's causing it, we spot a shadow in the back, and it's Scarecrow. And he's using his toxins to scare everybody and put them under his control, and then scurries away. Now we end up in pursuit of Scarecrow, so we end up following him, and we see Gordon getting dragged across the floor only to find him dead as we continue to try and find Scarecrow. We then try and call Barbara to inform her of her father's death, but to no avail. Finally though, we end up in an empty morgue, and as we go to leave, we end up in the same room with 3 body bags. We open one to find our dead mom, another to find our dead dad, and another to get Scarecrow.
Dead parents!
Now though, we wake up in a strange world under Scarecrow's control, and you can see here how the mod affects these fights. Alongside making Scarecrow's vision quicker to keep us on our feet, our goal here is to maneuver our way through the obstacles, climbing and hiding our way all the way up to the bat signal at the top, which we then use to banish Scarecrow and escape his hold. At least this time, and this earns us a trophy for conquering the fear toxin for the first time. Then making our way back out of the room, we instantly find out it wasn't Gordon we found dead on the floor, it was a random guard, which somehow makes this easier. We then wait for these thugs to break through the door and use ultra tactics to take all of them down at once, and then sharply move on to find Harley, who has got Gordon held up in a room, and now we need to sneak around and take out the guards undetected to save Gordon. After taking all 4 guys down, we can safely go for Harley now, so we smash through the glass ceiling, knocking her out and freeing our bestie as we finally start getting back on topic though, and we finally have a second to catch up where we stroll into a greenhouse looking for that gas, but all we then find is a very malnourished Bane, who then proceeds to let us know that Dr. Young, who we saved earlier on, is trying to replicate his Titan formula, which is what brings him into his big boy mode. Straight away though, Joker overhears us somehow through a TV, then decides to pump him full of said liquid, turn him into his big boy mode and taking us into the fight. But while this fight is happening, I want to use this time to talk about the mod up until this point, as I know I haven't really touched on it too much. I haven't found a lot of challenge up until this fight, because Bane's damage output is crazier than normal, and the pattern he does changes a lot compared to the base game, and he heals a lot more per phase now, which doesn't help having the enemies on top of that then jumping in after the first phase doing the same amount of damage Bane would do in the base game. And I am not a keyboard and mouse man, I never have been. I've been a controller kid from day dot, so this just adds another layer of difficulty into the fight. However though, funnily enough, the one run I did beat Bane on, I did it hitless, as you can hopefully see in the background here. And as we finally put Bane down, the room crumbles and we escape, just to be followed by the man himself, as we are about to be Barbara's wheelchair buddy for life. We send the Batmobile in to do a Caitlyn Jenner and run Bane down, earning us a well-deserved trophy for beating Bane. Now it's time to go back and, you guessed it, sweep some collectibles up on the way to the Batcave. I have been doing this a lot, haven't showed all of it, that's more for chapter 2 as I know it can be a bit boring. But now it's time to go and get the Batclaw. As we get to the Batcave, we then learn that Dr. Young from earlier, who has been working with Joker to help him replicate the Titan formula which Bane uses, which that is a no-no. We need to go and put an end to that now. After this revelation, we pick up the Batclaw and leave in pursuit of Dr. Young. We then proceed to make our way down and out of the Batcave, using the Batclaw to gain access into the sewers and fight our way through just to get jump scared off Croc and make our way into the sewer access room. And again, you guessed it, we clear the room of all the collectibles because there's quite a few we can pick up in here, as Barbara tells us what she found out about Dr. Young. and it seems that she has tried to back out of the deal with Joker after finding out how bad it really was, which Joker has not taken lightly, and that's why he's broken into Arkham Asylum to finish it off himself. After finally making it out of the sewers, we then end up back on the island, having to deal with snipers for the first time. Taking all of them out along our way, we then make our way over to the Arkham mansion, where we gain 2 more trophies, one for earning 25% of the Riddler trophies, and also one for accessing the Arkham mansion. And I know that this is a really odd place to try and get these trophies, but for some reason in the second room of here, I then decided to go for the free flow perfection trophy, which for anyone who has done that, you know how much of a fucking task it is, especially on this mode. It's not even funny. So the plan for that was keep going until it worked. This took over 2 hours, but we came out at the end of it with a free flow perfection trophy and also a 40 times free flow combo trophy. Finally, after enduring all that hell for those 2 trophies, we move on to the next room where thugs are still trying to find Dr. Young's research, exactly the same as us. So, yep, we just start straight up breaking cheekbones and find out that there's hostages tied to a bomb below us. So we need to climb our way all the way up to the top and drop a chandelier through the glass ceiling to get down and save them. But it wasn't from a bomb, but these Batflexes are just insane. So we are still sat in the same position. We have no idea where Dr. Young's research is, and now we need to start making our way towards her office. And along the way, we have this really cool interaction with a thug who's using a suicide collar.
Shut up! You got this whole building rushed out.
You really think so?
Oh yeah? Wanna think again? Look behind you.
Do I look stupid? You think I'm just gonna turn around so one of these remasters can jump in? Like that.
After talking to a guard who tells us that these collars only go off when an inmate's heart rate drops dramatically, which is going to be a problem for us now, meaning we have a lot less time inside of Predator encounters than we did prior to this. And speaking of which, that's exactly what the next room is, a room full of armed henchmen wearing, again, you guessed it, suicide collars. While doing this, we have a good chance to grab yet another trophy for dropping a henchman in front of another henchman and scaring him, which I'm surprised it took us this long. Normally I do this all the time, but either way, we move on and save Cash, who tells us which way we need to go to get to Dr. Young's office. As if you remember, he was escorting her here from the medical facility earlier on. We then have to make our way through Dr. Young's office and find her fingerprints for a trail again, following trails. We got all this from watching some CCTV of her making it here and then gathering her research, and now we know how to find it. So we follow Dr. Young's fingerprints all the way back to the room where the chandelier fell through, find which book her research is hiding in, and then burn it up so Joker can't get his hands on the formula.
It's never this simple with him.
As we turn around and go to leave, the corridor just keeps extending, and we find ourselves as a young boy watching our parents get killed for the millionth time, leading us into the second Scarecrow level. Here you can see it's starting to get quite a bit harder as the skeletons are now involved in the mix, and these can be bad news if not counted correctly, and the mod makes a great time of that. But for the most part, it's just the same as the first one, the basic parkour, hiding, and the added bonus of him being a virtual lighthouse on speed, which makes him feel so much quicker now, which you'll see more in the third fight. But again, we find our way back up to the bat signal, expelling Scarecrow from our mind, gaining us the second of third trophy for the Scarecrow levels. After coming back around from being mind raped off Scarecrow, we find Zaz has taken Dr. Young and held her up in the warden's study, where we now need to make a point on the corner and then take him out with a batarang after waiting for the right moment. This motherfucker gets bonked and we gain a trophy for taking down Zaz for the second time. However, our efforts are futile, as not more than 1 minute later she just straight up fucking dies. Following her swift execution, Harley makes a move on us with the warden in her possession to take what was in the safe after leaving us with her boys, knowing it won't end well, and it didn't. We use detective mode and find blood on the floor from where Harley smacked the warden with his cane, and now again we're following another trial, which this leads us over to the penitentiary where Harley is. Unfortunately, this recording is corrupted, which is going to be a bit of a nightmare considering I got 4 trophies here, being the 40% the Riddler trophies, the 100-meter glide without falling trophy, the catch trophy for throwing a remote control batarang catching it, and the trophy for taking down Harley, which takes us to 23 trophies. And luckily enough, I didn't lose too much, taking into account the time I I got the trophies. This only took me under an hour to finish totally. We add that onto the timer, and as you probably saw there, I was able to re-record 2 of them, but taking down Harley and the Riddler challenges I cannot do. So a breakdown of what happened after we beat Zaz and Dr. Young died is we follow Harley to the penitentiary, where we've got a lot of running around after her to do, including time chambers to save guards, fighting thugs as she swings from a light like a wrecking ball. She lets all the lunatics free, which is now an added bonus all over the island, and on top of that she sets Ivy free, which is going to be a problem later. Finally ending the game of cat and mouse though, we find her in a room with 3 platforms where we can be electrocuted, so we need to take the thugs out and still be moving left to right and in the middle to make sure we aren't electrocuted, but we can also use the ledges to our advantage, pull the guys over them, jump over, and then they'll get electrocuted. But finally she comes out doing some sick moves, tries to kick us, gets countered, and gets a fucking head bashed off. Throwing her into a cell, scanning her fingerprints, and now we leave, taking her out the equation, and all the footage I used here will be used from Batman Arkham videos, the man, the myth, the legend. Finally, we are back now in the gardens and trying to find Ivy so she can help us make a cure for the Titan formula. We are put straight into a Predator encounter, which is my favourite in the game, just due to how much you can fuck with these guys. But on our way out, we find out that the main door to the room is shut off by an electric fence, so we use that handy dandy detective mode to follow the wires into a room filled full of thugs and a hostage. We fight our way through the thugs and save the hostage, and find our first booby trap control panel, which we eventually break, moving back towards Ivy, finding Joker, who pulls some straight terrorist shit. Using our bat logic though, we conclude the vents are the best way around it, so we follow them into the sewers, which is full of collectibles. So of course I pick up every single one before moving on, and as we make our way out, we get a body dropped on us of a failed test subject from Joker trying to perfect his toxin above us. Making our way out of the sewer, we end up in a situation where there are 3 doctors being hung from cages over a chasm of death, and we need to get to the controller unseen before taking anyone else out so they don't die. This goes just as hard as it normally would. We'll make our way up to the control panel. We take out all the other guys after taking out the main controller. We save the doctors, and we make our way into Joker's secret lair, which this leads us into the dual Titan fight, which even with the massive buffs received by the Titans and both of them being fully evolved, this fight just was not, it had no difficulty to it at all, just because it's only 2 Titans. However, after defeating both of them, we earn ourselves yet another trophy for beating both Titans, and now with Joker on the run, we call in the Batwing to cause millions in damages just to drop off the zipline launcher, which we use to get back out the way we came, and finally find Ivy, convincing her to help us find a cure for the Titan formula, which after some fuckery then tells us that the spores which grow on the island, but of course only in Killer Croc's lair in the sewers, which is back where the game started, back in patient isolation, which we can now access with the zipline launcher. But before we go and do that, I need to go and see Kasha in the mansion, which is now overrun by steroid-induced Titan plants, to find out how to get back towards Croc on our way back to patient isolation. We then find a riddle on our way there, which puts us just over 50% for the trophy, 55% of the Riddler challenges complete. After making it back to the first Predator room, we then find it filled full of thugs, arming the gargoyles with bombs, making them unusable, so now we have to proceed in different ways on foot to take everybody down, which this proved harder than what I thought it would. When the final thug goes down, we can hack the terminal, open the doors, leading us into a familiar set, and our game just starts to glitch. And we get taken back to the start of the game with a twist. We are the Joker driving Batman to the Asylum. And yes, this is normal. We have now entered the third and final Scarecrow fight. But we all know this scared the fuck out of all of us as kids. This one is the exact same as all of the others, but however though, Scarecrow is no joke, and kept messing me up left, right and centre with no room for any error whatsoever. Which At the very end, we finally get over there to banish Scarecrow one final time and get thrown into a battle for our survival, which lasts 3 rounds. 1 round of normal skeletons, 1 round of a normal skeleton titan, and then round 3 being all of the above, which after beating each round activates a different bat signal. After we activate all 3, it lets us escape, finally beat Scarecrow and earn us our final trophy related to Scarecrow, that being fully conquering Scarecrow's toxin. Now with Scarecrow on the run down towards the sewers, we follow him, as that's exactly where we need to go, and then end up in a cutscene where he's threatening to poison the water supply. Just for Croc to jump out of said water supply, we then incapacitate Croc, moving towards his lair, and now we need to follow him, and this leads us into the Croc fight, which this isn't a typical fight. The goal here is to find and extract spores in and around Croc's lair, but we need to keep quiet, not to alert Croc to our location. So for some OG tips here, you just need to crouch and then you can move as quickly as you want for this section. And we make our way towards Spore Sack after Spore Sack, taking out Croc every time he advances, and now it's time to leave. After the last Spore Sack is taken down, we are mostly fine making our way out until we get close to the exit, and the camera gets locked in this old school GTA style, and we have to run out while Croc knocks out the floor underneath us. But however, we make it out regardless and use our street art to blow a hole in the floor and drop Croc into the abyss, which can I say that this is just some cowboy construction right here and very conveniently placed, but it worked in our favour, and we leave safe with enough spore to make a cure towards the Titan formula and another trophy in our pocket for beating Killer Croc. But now we need to make it down towards the Batcave to manufacture the cure, and as soon as we get there we start to make the cure, but Ivy's plans burst in, snapped off of steroids, wanting to sig, but we tell them that we don't smoke, they don't believe us, so we need to leave before it gets real. We are only then able to make enough for 1 person, but it's something, so now we are left doing some parkour around the outside cliff edges of the asylum, and end up back in the sewer main junction room from earlier, where Joker's pumping Titan into the water, and we can now use our upgraded backflow to pull this wall down, and with it some of the thugs making our way up onto the island, now needing to go and shut down all the pumps to stop the poisoned water supply. There are 3 pumps across 2 rooms, 1 being a combat encounter and 1 being a stealth encounter. We do the stealth room first, and this is a tribute to how hard stealth is. I didn't die a lot, but this really made me think about how I needed to do it, and took me a second to make my way around. I had to bide my time and take everyone out, and then make my way to the first control room, shut down the pump, and then we did the same with the second room being the combat encounter. And this had a hard mix of enemies, but it wasn't too bad to get through, so after we do that, we shut down pumps 2 and 3, and now we are on our way to stop Ivy from destroying the island with her Titan plans. Making our way back to go and find Ivy, we get chucked into a huge combat encounter, including some thugs and a Titan. Which this combat encounter isn't too bad, but this Titan did not want to dash for me for the life of it. After finally getting it to do so, after creating enough distance, we were able to hop on its back, knocking down 5 different henchmen while riding it, earning us a trophy and bringing the total up to 28, which is over halfway. We did die here stupidly, I did get stuck, and then I had to run it back 1 more time, which we did eventually beat it, and we make our way up, dropping the elevator down below us, blocking anyone from following us. And now we can move on to Ivy, but just before we do that, we now have all the upgrades, being the range extender for the hacking device, and also the upgraded backclaw to get any and all collectibles that we want. So I spend the next little while running around collecting everything I could see, and then we make our way over to Ivy. Finally, after making it to the gardens, we end up straight in the boss fight with Ivy, leading us all the way to her room. After Scarecrow, it is a bit of a boss rush, but you all know this fight. Even on the base game on hard, this is a fucker. It's insane, so it's even worse. But between her goons kicking my ass and my health being so low, no matter what I do, no matter how far I get, a couple hits I'm dead and it's a restart. But this game isn't like Dark Souls. There are mechanics to make this a ton easier. First of all, being batarangs do a small amount of damage even when she's not showing herself, so it's still best to be using them when and if you can. It's not always the best, but something else to keep in mind. And the best of all, as a boss will change phases, it saves your progress. Meaning we only need to make it out of Ivy's first phase, and that's very, very doable. And when we finally make that landmark and it's a bit easier for us, now it's just time to die and die and die over and over, trying to get the second phase down. The biggest issue I faced here were her goons constantly working me, and to make it better, I kept countering and still getting hit, or going to hit someone and not going to lock onto them and taking a hit as a result of it. But you know what this is. We finally get Ivy down for the last time, and now we put the explosive gel on the plant, explode it, beat Ivy, and walk away with the trophy for beating Ivy, which that trophy was earned through blood, sweat and tears, I can promise you that now. And after leaving Ivy in the collapsing gardens, we now have to start making our way towards Joker. But before going for that, I wanted to mob up as many Riddler challenges as possible, and the first one I pick up gives us the final trophy for now, that being the 70% of the Riddler challenges being solved, which this is huge. I've done all of this with no guide, which I do for all of them in the late game also, and I have been playing this game for like 15 years, so I know most of them off the top of my head anyway. But it's enough collecting time. It's time for the final go around with Joker, but quickly enough we are going for another trophy, as it's a missable trophy, which is to knock out all the goons at Joker's party, which these guys are all in a small space, and this mod made it so I couldn't do this easily. I had to try a good few different tactics using the line launcher and explosive gel along with ground takedowns, and finally after I got a good run, we were able to take them all down, earn us the party hooper trophy, and only leaving us with 3 story trophies left. We finally make it into the man himself, who has Gordon captive, poor bastard, can't even catch a breath. Joker releases 2 of his titans, and this time along with a lot of heavy hitting motherfuckers with legs that can withstand anything from where they are dropping down from. This one again took me a good while to get down, because between the titans and the goons and the buggy moments, this was a task within itself. When we finally beat this encounter, Joker shoots us with the titan formula, and then we have to cure ourselves, wasting the only cure we had, and then got carried all the way to the top of the building off a Titan infused Joker, which this is still cool as fuck to this day. And as the fight actually starts, we get our final upgrade point, which is always nice. That's just something extra out of the way, but now it's the final showdown. 3 waves of Joker's goons, and in between each round we have to backlaw the Joker, pulling him down, trapping him for enough time to get a good few bats in, and then it's back to him chasing us around in a circle. We basically just have to rinse and repeat this. I only did die once, but when the Joker finally falls and we give him the Mega Knuckle Blaster 3000, taking him out the game and earning us all 3 trophies for beating the game on easy, normal and hard, being Big Bang, Bigger Bang and the Biggest Bang. This concludes the whole story segment of this run, and now it's on to chapter 2 to finish up the collectibles. This section is going to be extremely short, just due to the fact that I already picked up 70+% of the Riddler challenges in the story. But however, all that said, I still have 3 trophies left, being solve 85% of the Riddler challenges, fully solve all of the riddles on the island, and finally fully reveal who the Spirit of Arkham is through the scannable tablets. First, as we are going around collecting everything that's not tied down, it's not long before we earn the trophy for solving 85% of the Riddler challenges. And just about around an hour later, we find our very last Riddler trophy, completing all of the Riddler challenges in this game.
What? You did it? You must have cheated. There is no way you could have beaten me.
However, saying that this game is probably the easiest to do this on, and remember the placements of trophies, just simply due to the smaller map compared to City, Origins and Night. But now, all we have to do is find the last scannable Amadeus Arkham tablet. We do eventually run into it, find the tablet, scan it, and it reveals, as probably a lot of you know, that Warden Quincy Sharp is the Spirit of Amadeus Arkham, which you can't miss in his voice really anyways. As I said, this is a very short section, and now it's time to move on to section 3 for the challenges. The The very first thing I did for the challenges was going to get a trophy I missed, being mano a mano for beating a Titan without using any batarangs. The way that we go about doing this is, on the very last challenge, we make it a wave 2, taking out all of the guys, and then it's just us and the Titan. We use explosive gel to stun him during an attack, and after doing this, since there's no enemies around, we just take him out and we walk away with the trophy, taking us up to a fat 38 and only 9 left to go. Moving on to the actual challenges though, there are 4 trophies for both categories, being earned 8, 16 and 24 stars on combat and predator challenges. This on its own just means we need to beat all challenges with 3 stars, combat being earned so much score for each star, and in predator challenges where we must perform certain takedowns to complete each challenge. We start with the combat challenges and we beat our first 3 levels with no issue, earning us the 8-star trophy for the combat challenges. But like I said, there are 2 unique challenges for each category. For combat, the one we're going for is don't take any damage for a whole combat encounter, which is 4 rounds of thugs. However, use the first combat room to do this, and after a few attempts we got it down, walking away with the trophy in hand, and now all that's left is for us to 3-star all of these challenges, which I did surprisingly quickly, and I won't be showing too much of these, but here I earned the 16-star trophy, and finally we earned the 24-star trophy, meaning we only have the predator challenges left. Again, there's unique trophies for this, as I said earlier. This one being do a whole challenge without being seen, and it's the first one we go for. Again, nothing too hard, and the last thug falls, we end the challenge, earn us the trophy, leaving us with only 4 remaining. We go through the challenges, doing all the ridiculous takedowns or time challenges depending on which one it is, and this then earns us in turn the 8 stars, 16 stars and 24 stars, and that's it, the game's beaten. And now we finally get the trophy for 100% in the game. Wrapping up this run, and on a difficulty rating, I'd rate this about a 6 out of 10, only considering I've been playing this game for nearly 2 decades, which just makes this easier as a whole. But the mod has been updated since I played this, along with a name change after spending 10 hours plus on the thumbnail. But this is my biggest project yet ever to date. I hope you've enjoyed, and please consider subscribing. But with all said and done, I'll catch you in the next one.